Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel, U.S. Immigration News. We hope you're doing great. In this video, we're going to talk about Florida Gov DeSantis signing sweeping immigration bills. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed two sweeping immigration enforcement bills, enacting stricter penalties, new enforcement measures, and a state immigration board to coordinate with federal officials. The legislation strengthens Florida's role in immigration enforcement and aligns with former President Donald Trump's policies. Florida Gov Ron DeSantis signed into law two far-reaching immigration enforcement bills on Thursday, paving the way for stricter penalties, new enforcement measures, and the creation of a state immigration board designed to coordinate with federal officials. Today, the state has passed the strongest legislation to combat illegal immigration of any state in the country, DeSantis told reporters. The legislation aims to position Florida as a key player in helping former President Donald Trump identify and deport undocumented immigrants. The bills, passed by the Florida House and Senate, include stiffer penalties for undocumented immigrants who commit crimes, tougher enforcement requirements for local officials, and changes to the state's controversial migrant transport program. The approvals of the legislation culminated in 3 special sessions in 2 weeks on the immigration issue. The efforts got off to a rocky start last month after DeSantis called a special session. Creation of a state immigration board. The State Board of Immigration Enforcement will be made up of the governor, agriculture commissioner, attorney general, and state chief financial officer. The board would coordinate immigration enforcement activities with federal officials and dole out $250 million in grants to local law enforcement agencies to assist federal enforcement efforts. Decisions made by the board would have to be unanimous. Death penalty for convicted criminals. One of the more controversial bills requires that undocumented immigrants convicted of first-degree murder or raping children face a mandatory death sentence in Florida. House Democrats question the constitutionality of the death penalty requirement. Minority Leader Fentress Driscoll pointed to a House staff analysis that said the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that mandatory death sentences are unconstitutional. Sam Garrison, an attorney who helped sponsor the bill, acknowledged the issue would be litigated but said nothing in the bill erodes the rights of people in the criminal justice system. The bill also makes it a misdemeanor for undocumented immigrants over age 18 to knowingly enter Florida after entering the U.S. by eluding or avoiding examination or inspection by immigration officers. The measure carries a 9-month jail sentence for first-time violators. Second-time offenders would face felony charges, carrying a minimum sentence of a year and a day behind bars. Changes to the migrant transport program. Another bill makes significant changes to a 2023 law that created the Unauthorized Alien Transport Program within the State Division of Emergency Management. Lawmakers in 2023 steered $12 million to the agency, bolstering DeSantis' efforts to relocate undocumented immigrants to places such as Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts. Under the new plan, the state agency can only transport migrants out of the state if federal immigration officials specifically request assistance, cover the cost of the travel, and oversee the operations. Tougher penalties and enforcement measures. Another measure requires sheriffs and county jail administrators to cooperate with federal immigration officials, participate in what is known as the 287G program, and report undocumented immigrants to federal authorities. The bill would impose $5,000 fines and suspension from office for county or municipal officials who refuse to comply with immigration detains issued by a federal agency. It also increases penalties and requires pretrial detention for undocumented immigrants who commit forcible felonies, something already required for other serious violent crimes. The measure also does away with in-state tuition for undocumented immigrant students. The bills have the support of Governor Ron DeSantis, ending 2 weeks of tension between the governor and top Republican leadership. The bills, which sparked legal and political debates, solidified DeSantis' hard-line stance on immigration. With tougher penalties, enhanced enforcement, and new restrictions, Florida now has some of the strictest state-level immigration laws in the nation.
Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel US Immigration News. We hope you are doing great. In this video, we are going to talk about Florida's Governor DeSantis signing sweeping immigration bills. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed two extensive immigration enforcement bills into law, introducing stricter penalties, new enforcement protocols, and a state immigration board to collaborate with the federal authorities. DeSantis called it the most robust state-level immigration legislation in the nation, aligning Florida with the former President Donald Trump immigration policies. The bill introduced harsher penalties for undocumented immigrants who commit crimes, stricter enforcement mandates for local officials, and revisions to the state's migrant transport program. This video followed three special legislative sessions over 2 weeks after an initial rocky start. A key provision establishes the State Board of Immigration Enforcement comprising the Governor, Agriculture Commissioner, Attorney General, and State Chief Financial Officer. This video will oversee immigration enforcement effort to allocate $250 million in grants to local law enforcement agencies with a unanimous agreement required for all the season. One of the most continuous measures mandates the death penalty for undocumented immigrants convicted of first-degree murder or child rape. House Democrats raised constitutional concerns sitting past U.S. Supreme Court ruling against mandatory death sentences. Republican Rep. Sam Garrison acknowledged potential legal challenges but argued the bill does not infringe on defendants' rights. Additionally, the bill criminalizes undocumented adults who enter Florida after evading federal immigration inspections, imposing a 9-month jail sentence for first-time offenders and felony charges for repeat violation. Another provision significantly modifies the 2023 unauthorized line transport program. Previously, the state allocated $12 million to relocate undocumented immigrants, including a high-profile transport to Marks or Vineyard. Under the revised law, such transport can only occur if federal immigration officials explicitly request assistance, cover expenses, and oversees the process. Stronger penalties and enforcement measures are also introduced. Sheriffs and the county jail administrators must now comply with the federal immigration authorities, participate in the 287 program, and report undocumented immigrants. Non-compliant county or a municipal official face $5,000 fines and potential suspension from office. The law also mandates pre-trial detention for undocumented immigrants occurs of violent felonies, a requirement already in place for other serious crimes. Additionally, the legislation repeals institution benefits for undocumented immigrant students. The bill's passage concludes a tense 2-week standoff between DeSantis and top Republican leaders, ultimately strengthening the governor's hardline stance on immigration.